Everyone's heard of an apple a day keeps the doctor away, but there's nothing scientifically supporting that. That's pretty lame. But what I bet you probably haven't heard about is an orange a day keeps macular degeneration away. That phrase circulated a little bit in news sources, primarily because of the trial that I'm about to talk about. Doing something as simple as eating an orange a day or per week could delay the onset of getting an age-related eye disorder or macular degeneration. Ironically, the apple didn't show these similar results as compared to the orange, but enough with the spoilers, I'm just going to jump right into it. What's up everyone, my name's Henrik and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm breaking down an observational clinical study looking at the effects of dietary flavonoids and the incidence of age-related macular degeneration. This study was published in July of 2018 by Dr. Bamini Gopinath and others from a few centers near Sydney, Australia. Age-related macular degeneration, or AMD, is the leading cause of blindness and visual problems in older people, and around 8% of people in the world have it or at least show symptoms for it. AMD typically starts around age 50 or 55, and your vision basically gets more blurry as time goes on. The macula, as shown in this figure, is in the back of your eye and is a part of your retina. As you can see in the second picture, AMD is caused by blood vessels near the macula that abnormally grow and get leaky. So if it gets leaky, it causes the blurrier picture. The cause of this is really unknown, but there are known genetic risk factors and other factors, like having heart problems, being a smoker, and being overweight or obese. Research into nutrition approaches to delay AMD have been done, and today's study looks at the effects of flavonoids, which is a class of compounds typically found in fruits and vegetables, like oranges. And here's a nice list of all the foods they're contained in, but let's break it down. Looking into the study design, this was an observational study based on the Blue Mountain Eye Study BMES cohort, which is basically a group of people being analyzed for various eye disorders and other outcomes over an extended period of time. This is an observational type of study because there was no intervention, and researchers just looked at study participants and drew relationships between various factors like flavonoid consumption and AMD. Although this data was published in 2018, over 2,000 participants over 15 years between 1994 and 2009 were studied near Sydney, Australia. Here's a table with data on the participants, and the prevalence was the number of people who started the study, incidence was the number of people who finished the study, and we always look at that incidence number, so that's the more important value. Every participant filled out a 145-item food frequency questionnaire every 5 years, and you can see a more basic example of that right here, but it basically approximates the frequency of different foods you ate over that past year. Based on the type of food you put in this questionnaire, researchers were able to calculate specific flavonoid consumption and look at different foods individually, like oranges. Additionally, every 5 years, all participants came in and had their eyes assessed for age-related macular degeneration, using a scale called the Wisconsin AMD grading system. I'm not going to get into the complexities of that, but you're more than welcome to Google and read that in the research paper. With this data, the researchers looked at flavonoids in general, specific types of flavonoids, and different types of foods, and drew correlations between that and the prevalence of AMD. Let's take a look and see what they found. After adjusting for potential confounding variables like age, having AMD risk genetics, or being a smoker, it was discovered that increasing your intake of flavonoids as a whole was associated with reduced AMD at 15 years. So basically, people who consumed more flavonoids had AMD at a lower rate than people who ate less flavonoids. Additionally, researchers looked at correlations with foods high in flavonoids like apples, oranges, tea, juice, wine, and other things. This is the cool result in my opinion, but participants that ate oranges at least once per week had significantly reduced odds by 60% of developing any form of macular degeneration after 15 years. Additionally, when looking at these relationships, eating oranges at least once per week correlated to a 92% reduction in developing late AMD, which is a more problematic form of AMD. This approximate relationship was also seen with orange juice, not only oranges. But interestingly, we saw significant relationships with the orange and orange juice, but not with apples, tea, red wine, and beer, or other things looked at. Okay, well you might be wondering, what's so special about flavonoids? Well, flavonoids are compounds that have anti-inflammatory and antioxidative activities, meaning they can help preserve tissue, which is a very simplified description. But because AMD is caused by abnormal growth of blood vessels, if you can slow that growth using these compounds, you can delay its onset. That is an ongoing theory and really what this trial was based off of, and that's the likely reason why we saw the general trends of flavonoids and AMD. Okay, but what's special about oranges, not apples, grapes, or other foods? The paper didn't talk too much about oranges in itself, but they did say that oranges are a huge source of flavonoids, which is a type of flavonoid. Specifically, all citrus fruits have a lot of this type of flavonone called hesperetin. The study today looked at hesperetin and said that there was a 53% reduction in risk of AMD when comparing people who ate the most hesperetin versus the least. To corroborate this, a separate research study with another group tried to understand the biochemical pathway between hesperetin and AMD. Basically, they found that hesperetin reduces oxidative species in retinal pigment cells through a specific pathway, which can explain the steps to support our theory around oxidation and the causes of AMD. So realistically, here's the biochemical evidence that can explain why hesperetin can affect AMD. And this could be the underlying reason why oranges specifically can help delay or prevent AMD, and is the likely reason we saw the results that we did. I think this is a super cool topic, and I think it's awesome to look at these longitudinal research studies, aka over a long period of time, because they're sometimes more accurate and tell a better story. I really doubt you could detect any changes in your eye degeneration after 1 week, or 1 month, or maybe even a single year of eating oranges. So looking over longer periods of time can help you read between the lines. This is not the first study to look into reducing AMD with food, but the first to look at flavonoids. A massive observational study called the Age-Related Eye Diseases Study, ARED, looked at 7,000 participants over 10 years and analyzed AMD with different nutrients. They found that these 9 nutrients were associated with decreased risk of late AMD. Here you see different vitamins and minerals, but interestingly you see vitamin C, which is a great antioxidant and helps with your immune system and helps repair tissue, which is a once again very simplified description. Oranges are also very high in vitamin C. So maybe, who knows, maybe the combination benefit of vitamin C and hesperetin and other flavonoids allows it to have some significant effect. I haven't found studies on that relationship, but I literally made this theory on my own as I've been preparing this video. But apparently you can buy supplements that have a combination of vitamin C and flavonoids, so who knows, I might be onto something. Simultaneously, there's a lot of limitations. First, this is an observational study, so we definitely cannot say that eating more flavonoids in oranges causes a change in macular degeneration, but you can say there's a relationship between the two. Second, food consumed was collected by remembering what you ate in the previous year. It's personally hard for me to remember what I ate over the past month, nevertheless over the past year, so food consumed is a very, very rough estimate. Third, a lot of other things could have affected macular degeneration. For example, other genetic markers besides the 2 they looked at, obesity, cardiovascular problems, and even sitting in front of your computer all day staring at a screen could have had some effect. In total though, this study was able to look at a pretty large sample size over a longer period of time and adjusted for a decent number of variables, like trying to take into account 2 genetic markers for macular degeneration. I still think it's a great study that tells a lot of cool relationships between what we eat and eye health, and I also think there's a lot more research to be done in this field. Looking at some takeaways and a nice summary, a 15-year observational study from Australia found relationships between increasing flavonoid consumption and decreasing risk of age-related macular degeneration. They found that specifically eating oranges and drinking orange juice really supported this relationship. Age-related macular degeneration is a common eye disorder that occurs as you get older, and this study and others shows relationships with nutrition that could delay its onset. I honestly like the taste of oranges and fruit, and I do eat them effectively on a daily basis, but who knows, eating them could have helped my eyes, or can help my eyes. I'm not here to make recommendations, but provide some really interesting information on clinical research and some hot topics as well. I'm sure you are more than capable of making decisions on your own, and honestly, you probably have a doctor who knows lots about this stuff, so just ask them. Or you can just eat an orange a day and keep the eye doctor away. Obviously a joke, but regardless, all the research and paper I've discussed are cited below and linked in my description. Don't forget to like and comment for more content. If you haven't figured out, I post twice a week on Wednesday and Saturday, so be prepared for more content, or click that notification bell to be notified whenever I upload. But I hope you all learned something and have a good one. Thanks.